I'm Trio. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. I believe there are times we need a sis to see us for who we are, where we are, exactly how we are, and then see all that we can be. The sis that can do that with each of us is a real treasure. I've had my moments, sis. I realize that our connections to one another are absolutely gold. I know there are times that we journey solo, and there are times we journey with others. Both are completely necessary for our growth and increased strength as women. You are here with me, and I am here with you. And we will journey wherever you are now to your best self, always. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. Welcome. We are in December now and very excited about just spending time as families. We've, I think, gotten a whole lot closer over this year than perhaps in the past when we were really just bombarded with being mom taxis and running everybody everywhere. And perhaps that's still true for you today. It is a little bit for me, but I want to go a little different direction today. A few weeks ago, my husband, Paul, and we celebrated 19 years of marriage, and it was super fun. We have been married 19 years, and it was really interesting when people found out we had been married 19 years, the comments and the looks that we would get from strangers. And I don't really know how I feel about that. So I'm going to think about that for a minute, and I'm going to see how Paul feels about people commenting on that. Like, how did that make you feel when they would look at us and be like, wow, 19 years, like with the same person?
Well, it made me feel old, for one, but it made me also realize just how fast time flew by. Like, you think 19 years, I remember when we were married 1, and then 5, and then 10, and thinking, wow, these are big milestones, and really we're a year away from our 20th anniversary, which is a pretty big milestone. It just helped me realize just how quickly time flies, especially when you're with the partner that you love and that you want to be with. So
19 years, and I have to say, I think we were babies pretty much when we got married. And, you know, some people will say, yeah, we were babies. We didn't quite know what we were doing. And so if we would have waited and we were older, then we would have been wiser. And, you know, people that are going through divorces and things like that. And that's totally fine if that's how you feel. But I think for us, what's been a really big piece of our marriage is that we're willing to grow together. And in some regards, like, we've grown up together. And I think that's a really good thing for us. I think if you get really set in your ways and you're not willing to be flexible or work through things or bring things to the table, then it gets really easy to see things your own way. But for Paul and I think we've worked really hard to let each other know where we are, how we're feeling, and what might be hard sometimes.
well, yeah, I mean, those who are married know that marriage is tough work, right? And this idea is you're no matter what, you're always going to marry a stranger. It doesn't matter how long you've dated somebody or you're with them. Marriage changes things, and when you get married, you're choosing your set of problems that you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. And so, you know, I'm a marriage and family therapist by training, and I joke with the couples that I work with, like, you know, when you married this person, you married a set of problems. And so one of the keys to really having long-term happiness, I think, is learning how to deal with those sets of problems in creative ways and be able to have conversations. So Trio's talking about us being able to express our our feelings and our emotions when we're frustrated, and the other being able to hear it and spend time to validate it. And it may not make sense to us, or when Trio's having a hard time, it may not make sense to me, but that's not the point of it, because it's her experience, it's what she's experiencing. And so we've had to learn how to do that by trial and error, right? Those are things that don't come naturally. And I think it's something that we've mastered over the last 19 years.
Yeah, and in some ways, so we have to say we don't just bring problems to the table, we do bring our celebrations as well. And Paul is really good about that. Like, he is a happy go lucky guy, and like every day is a celebration at 5 in the morning for him.
I've been cursed as a morning person, right? I love it, right? So I'll wake up ready to tackle the day, excited about life, and it takes Trio a little while longer to start up the brain and get things
I
going.
used to want to just sleep in until like 9 in the morning. But I'm okay if he gets up before me. No, 9 in the morning is not when I get up, but it was the ideal.
Well, I agree with Trio, right? This idea, the joke I tell couples is that you marry a set of problems, but you also marry a whole person, right? That comes with a lot of strengths. And that, I think that's the other part of how do you celebrate those strengths and the strengths that your partner has. And there's a lot of things, a lot of strengths that Trio has that I'm still learning to try to do, and I admire. And being able to admire those things and allow your partner to shine, to do the things that they do well. It's been really fun watching Trio shine in her life as she's tackled things later on in life, like nursing school or her doctorate for a nurse practitioner or a podcast. Like, those are things that I don't think I'm capable of doing. And so learning how to celebrate those things and support each other's dreams too is really important.
Oh, you guys, he's so sweet. He is amazing. And that's one thing that I would call us, and you've heard me term this in the book I'm writing, Paul, but I feel like we are a modern day couple that, because we've grown up together and, both of our moms, I know your mom works some outside the home, but for the most part, our moms were traditional homemakers and our fathers were the providers. And we embrace a lot of that as a couple. Like, we're a traditional couple in that way. But I think one thing about us is that we have been really good at being flexible and being there for each other in the ways that we've needed to show up. And that means that sometimes we do different tasks. Like, Paul's really amazing at cooking meals. And he's found later in life, in this, 19 years of marriage, in about the past 6 to 8 years, he found a real love for cooking and being in the kitchen.
I'm the best cleaner ever. I love to clean.
He is. He loves to clean. And he can do the laundry really well and put it away like nothing else. I'm still faster at folding the laundry, but you're really good at doing the laundry and cleaning the house. And that is a huge thing for us, because when I had the stresses of going to school and studying, Paul was Mr. Mom and dropped the kids off in the mornings and would pick them up after school, help with homework, do the dinner, and oftentimes had them in bed by the time I got home. And so, we've been there for each other in different ways that, we chose goals as a couple and knew the sacrifices, perhaps not the extent of them, but we were willing to do what needed to be done.
I think that that's one of the things that I've loved the most about our relationship is when we would set goals together and then we'd work to achieve them and whatever it took, right? And so you going back to school was a big goal. That was a major life adjustment for us. I mean, you'd been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. I was in the middle of my career at some really critical points, but it was something we really felt needed to happen. And so we made the sacrifices necessary. And I really viewed it as something exciting, right? Even though it was a sacrifice, it's something that we were all in on. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't remember ever once turning back and saying, well, I'm sacrificing my career so you can do this. But it was really
Mm-hmm.
about, this is about what we want, whether that's about us younger getting out of debt, or us having you go to school, or the other things that we've chosen to do. It's been something that we've all bought into and supported each other in those roles, and allowed roles to change and adapt so we could achieve those.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the graduation picture of our whole family at my graduation, because everybody was smiling and like I could feel the family, like it was a family process.
Yeah. The kids bought in. I mean, the kids were part of that, right? When mom had successes, they were celebrating it.
Mm-hmm.
And the process, I tell you, the process wasn't without struggles, right? Because mom guilt is really real. I mean, it's a real thing. And Tria would feel really guilty that she wasn't there at times to put the kids to bed or take them to school. Um, but the kids really knew what it was about, and they would talk to her about, I'm proud of you, and mom, you need to study, and you need to do those things. And because it was a family decision and a family affair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we've
Yeah.
always taken the philosophy that we want our kids to be part of the process. They don't have the final choice,
Right.
right? But they're part of the family and can help make decisions. When we talked about you going back to school, they all agreed to it. So
Mm-hmm. So let's go back and talk about when we were first married. Do you remember? Okay, so this is fun. Paul started his master's program at Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama, and we
we were hall directors.
he was a
Yeah.
hall director there, which was awesome because we had a place to live and it was right on campus. But that also meant that he had to be flexible in going where to whichever hall they needed him at. So within our first 2 years of marriage, I think we moved 10 times.
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
I think it was about 10 times. And we didn't have a lot of stuff, but we had just gotten married. And so we had stuff. And my dad would come down with his big dually truck and he would move us like every time. Oh, and we lived off of $600 a month.
Yeah, I think it was 650 as a hall director. So, we had to take care of like 300 kids in our place, and I thought it was really funny after we got married. Some of the girls in our housing unit didn't know that we were married, and I heard one of them complaining about, it's not fair that we can't have boys in our rooms at night, and here the hall director sneaks in a girl in his apartment every night. And I remember my RA turned to her and said, he's married, that's his wife. And so it was just, it was fun. It was a fun experience. And
Do you remember the fire alarms going off in the middle of the night? And we've had some experiences. And also, like, they're college students. And they would be up on the weekends up until like all hours of the night. And I did not know about white noise machines at that time. So,
yeah, but they were afraid to be too noisy to get in
that's
trouble.
true.
So.
And I was a pretty good sleeper before we had kids. So it was good. Let's talk about the drives back and forth to Columbus.
Oh yeah.
So before I got my nursing degree, back when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I got a degree in exercise science and graduated from Columbus State University in Columbus, Georgia. But we lived in Auburn, Alabama. And
Well, I think first we need to say, like, it was really important to us that Trio got her degree, right? And that was something unusual for her family a little bit, where
it was.
once the daughters got married, they would, not finish school or they would have kids. And we kind of bucked the system. And she got into Auburn, but she would have had to pay out of state tuition, which was a lot.
$650 a month wouldn't cover it.
No, it wouldn't cover it. And so she was a Georgia resident, and so Columbus was right across the state line, but it was an hour away. And so we made a decision that that was important for her, and she would take her only car, and she'd have class at 7 or 8 in the morning, which we were Central Time, which means she had to leave at 5 in the morning. So she would get there at 6, which was really 7 o'clock. And then she would stay all day, and she would enroll in 15, 16 hours. And in fact, her last semester at Columbus State, in order to graduate with me, she had to take 24 credit hours. And so she would do this routine of leaving at 5 or 6 in the morning, stay all day, come home, be home at 8 or 9 at night. And we would do that for these 2 years. And the last year, we drove together twice a week because I had my internship placement site where I was seeing clients in Phoenix City, Alabama, which was right across the way. And so she would drop me off at 7 in the morning before the place would open. And I'd stand outside and wait for it to open. And then she'd pick me up at 6 or 7 at night, and I'd stand outside for an hour because they'd closed down for us to kind of figure this out. We had one car. We would do that, and we'd have fun conversations. The first time I was exposed to country music was driving back and forth. And
you guys, we crossed the Chattahoochee twice a day.
And she would sing it.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
But, these are all things like, to be able to sacrifice to achieve things were really important for us. And that first year, we didn't see, I was in a very rigorous master's program, and then you were in a pretty challenging program as well, but the travel made it difficult. Yeah, but it prepared us to be parents, right?
Of course. So the honeymoon period for us might have been a little, I don't know.
Well, we went from getting married during Thanksgiving, coming back home, and all of a sudden having 300 kids at where we were staying. It was different. It was good. But we were right into school right away. And a lot of married couples do that transition. But
they do.
It was fun.
Maybe not as intense as we did, but
it's funny, looking back at all of this stuff. At the time it was pretty painful and challenging, right? Really stressful, and sometimes you may look back at these stressful experiences and you forget how stressful they are, and you look back at them with fondness. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I look back at the years in Auburn and the things we did as wow, they were fun, and it was really, really proud that we accomplished that. And you forget how much sacrifice was put into achieving those goals, but how those experiences prepare you and refine you for the next challenge, right? Because no relationship is void of challenges, and no having kids, and that there's always some other hill or mountain to climb that you have to achieve. So
that is true. And right now we're climbing the hill of raising children who have discovered their own way of thinking and their own personalities.
They take after Trio.
Oh, that's not true. But I am the favorite parent.
That's true.
So I'm the favorite parent, but I guess they also have a healthy fear. They know if I'm going to have them make their bed, they run.
That's right.
But
they learned a happy life is a happy wife or a happy mama. So
that's right. It's good. It was really cool to be able to say, that we've celebrated 19 years of marriage. And I was 20 when we got married, and you were 25.
Yep.
And so we were thinking about this and we're like, oh my goodness, next year will be 20 years and I'll be 40. And then I was like, oh, well, it's always been a big deal to hit the 50th anniversary. At least like for the generations ahead of us, like that's been a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, when we hit our 50th anniversary, I'll be 70. And we're going to have to go back to Disney World because that's, you guys, we got married over Thanksgiving break and we did not really have a honeymoon. So we spent our first anniversary. Paul wanted.
We spent 10 months saving up because I was like, we are only 4 hours away from Disney World. So we spent that year with $650 a month. We would just sock away.
And I cleaned houses.
Yep. $50 a month, what we could. And that first year we spent a week at Disney World.
Because I had never been, and Paul spent like 2 weeks performing there with a performing group. And so we wanted to go. And we went and celebrated our 1-year anniversary at Disney World, just the two of us. And it was one of the best times. And so I told him for our 50th, we have to, when we're 70, we have to go. We're not going to be in walkers. We're going to be good, babe.
That's right.
Yeah. Like you're a muscle machine.
Dang right.
So, I expect the muscles to be there. The beard, we can take or leave it, whatever. But we are going to be healthy and strong and ready to scream our heads off on some Tower of Terror.
Well, before that, we got the 20th coming up in a year, so sounds good.
Yeah, but COVID is, anyway. 20th, it'll be awesome. And then we'll just keep hitting all those exciting anniversary points. Okay, you guys, thanks for being here with us. You are amazing, and we're excited for this time of year and just wanted to share a little bit more of our story with you. So, love you. Have a great day. And remember, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, you've got this. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope that you have an amazing day and week. Until next time, sis, be sure to remember that you've got this. Also, go on and check out ygtsis.com. There you can find out what we're up to, podcasts, YouTube videos, and even the shop. Don't worry, it's a great place to be. It's a little bit of unwinding. It's a whole lot of real, and it's exactly what you need. Go check it out, ygtsis.com.